This is Christoph Yalik.
This is Just Janet.
And this is K. Colley.
And this is
the Just Nuggets Podcast.
Welcome back to another season of the Just Nuggets Podcast. My name is K. Colley. JJ's, how are you doing?
Just Janet. Yeah, I'm doing great. Looking forward to this season. I have high hopes for it.
And Mr. Yalik, Deep, how you doing?
What up? It's been a long time. Last time we talked, it was under sad circumstances. So I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be here with you. And I'm happy to be talking to my fellow Nuggets fans. What's up? Happy summer.
Woo! Yeah,
it was quite the heartbreak, but we're in season 3. We have some good news. We have some bad news. We have everything in between. So if you have not been keeping up with the Nuggets, we're going to do just an overhaul of everything that's kind of gone down this free agency. So, Christoph, what has been the most exciting moment this free agency for you?
Well, I'm not going to even hold you, to be honest with you. I went into a wee bit of a basketball, but specifically, a sports depression after the Nuggets lost. Like, I had no desire to watch the finals. I had no desire to watch the conference finals. It just was like sports was not fun. Basketball was not fun. And I was like, there's no point to it because we really let an opportunity get away from us. And I don't think I'll ever truly get over that. But, we did get a ring the year before, so that makes me feel a lot better about it. So it wasn't until about a week and some change ago that I actually started to get my sea legs back under me when it came to this, Nuggets Nation and being back on my fandom. It was when we signed, or when the deal went through, moving Mr. Westbrook, moving Russell Westbrook out of the Clippers to Utah. They cut him. He cleared waivers, and he is now a Denver Nugget. And as of yesterday, it's official.
The Brody is in Denver.
We love
Brody's
it.
in Denver. It goes back. He has a rich history in Denver in terms of, like, I remember him knocking us out the playoffs when he got his 41st triple-double in 2017. I want to say that was him fighting with the little kid because the little kid touched him, and he told the parent, told the parent, like, watch your kid. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's
Beef with
Rocky.
So I think what it comes down to is when he's played against us a lot. He was in the division for many years, and so we know exactly who it is. And I know he's more so on the back half of his career. I don't think he's out here contending for MVP anymore. However, I think he is a exceptionally brilliant, not smart, but brilliant basketball player. I think he will fit into this culture and come into kind of like the Aaron Gordon, KCP, Christian Brown role where they get in where they fit in. And I think that's the beautiful thing about what Coach Malone has built, and the superstar Nikola Jokic on down. What happens is you have to find your way to get in where you fit in, and you buy into the culture, you buy into the team. And I have no doubt that he will. So for me to expect Westbrook or whatever, all that bull junk that's floated around his narrative, I think he's gonna be more so a slasher. And here's my thing. A lot of people might say we're losing, which we are, 3-point shooting with the departure of KCP. We are. No doubt about that. Our starting 5 will not be as great. There's no doubt. We had the best starting 5 in basketball. I don't think that's the case anymore, but we'll have to cross that bridge and get better. I think Westbrook does so much for that bench that it's well worth it, and go for it.
Well, I'm thinking that's what's the issue. A lot of people have been hearing talking about how he needs to start or he's going to be a KCP replacement. He is not, in my opinion, humble opinion though it is. I think he's a Bruce Brown replacement. He's going to be able to fill in with the starters if needed. And he's also going to be our sixth man. He's going to be the one that comes in and leads that bench to its successful play, because we haven't had that. And if we need offense from that bench, he's going to be able to provide it because he can get his own shot. He could be a point. He could, he could do what he does. The 3-point shooting is that he lacks supposedly or does in honesty is overblown to me. We want him to do other things. There's other things in the game than shooting threes. We want him to be the leader of that bench. We want him to come in here and be ready to get in the starting 5 if we need him on nights when we need him. Just like he's a Bruce Brown to me. He's not KCP. KCP is even though Russ can defend his butt off. I mean, I know he does. So he'll have that. But we're not asking him to be KCP.
Yeah, the lie is that everybody's like, well, he doesn't replace KCP. To me, this is Calvin Booth 1 year late, getting the replacement we needed for Bruce Brown last year.
Mm-hmm.
If we have Westbrook on our team last year, we win game 7 and we're back in the finals because I don't see a world where Dallas is getting us.
No.
I think what Russ does really well is he brings that energy that we've been lacking from the Nuggets, that full-blown just like grit that the Nuggets need to have and tenacity that we play with. We get that back, which we lost with Bruce Brown. We get an excellent defender. Russ last year was in some of the top categories for defense. So yes, we lose KCP, but we do at least get that defense back.
Right.
We also get a slasher, and Jokic loves people that go and get open.
Yeah.
Third, we get the number 1 triple-double guy in NBA history. He has 199 triple-doubles. You place that with Jokic, who's 4th of all time. I think he has 130 triple-doubles. So combine those two guys, and we have the best passing team in the NBA.
Yeah.
All we have to do is find the right guys, knock down our shots, get to the hole, if we're not a 3-point team like we used to be, fine, let's get to the rack. If we can subsidize our threes for more trips to the line, there's ways the Nuggets offense can balance itself with Russ. And we just got to know that Russ is coming here as a only focus he cares about right now is championship. There's no ego with Russ when he's coming here this year. No. So he hated or loved, and I do have to buy. I got to step back and say I do have bias because I really do. I've always been a Russell Westbrook fan. I know there's people out there that are not the biggest Westbrook fans, but I think if you give him a chance in this Nuggets offense, I don't see how he doesn't thrive with Jokic.
Everybody thrives when they come and play with Joker. Who has not thrived when they come and play with Joker if you're a veteran or something like that? I
think everyone does.
Everybody has anyone not come out and Ish from Ish.
Yeah, even Ish was hooping.
Uncle Jeff.
Monte,
Harkenstein.
I mean,
I think to your point, there's no let up. You know what I mean? There's no let up. Like in when they won the championship in 2023, there was like the bench kept coming at you. Those 5 left, and we would still have another 3 in a intermix we could do with one of the starters, 2 of the starters. It was relentless, and that's why that team was one of the best teams I've ever watched. Definitely the best Nuggets team I ever watched, and one of the best teams I've ever watched in the last 15 years of basketball for sure. But like last season, there was a break. There was a definitive break, and it was like Nuggets fans were holding their breath when the bench came out. It was just because we didn't know where we were gonna get their efficiency. And one last thing, as a Calvin Booth hater, and someone who was leading the charge, I was so happy on Twitter if it finally spoiled for him, because Nuggets Nation, we literally let this man off the hook for far too long, and I'm happy it turned sour on him. So I'm happy. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. And I was saying about the media, will have some things to say about where they think Russ should fit in our offense. But the only people that have something to say about that is Coach Michael Malone and the players. And so they'll play together and they'll see. And here's what I think. I think maybe if you got Russ 2 years ago, he might have thought he should be a starter. He was not a starter at the Clippers. So he played. Let me say to you, he's gonna do 2 things. He's gonna be a starter sometime in 82 games. I know that. Okay. And I also know Jamal Murray will need help as a backup. We need a backup guard. We lost Reggie Jackson. And so that's what Bruce Brown did. I just see him clearly, to me, as a Bruce Brown replacement. But
I'm glad we're having this conversation, because I think the media and even Nuggets Twitter and all that have had this weird conversation about Russ, about who they who they're scared to have in the locker room, as if he hasn't changed over the last 3 years.
Yeah.
If you look at how Russ is, ever since he left LA, and even in LA, Paul Pierce made this point. That was a great point. He said he's okay. Russ had no problem coming off the bench. He's just like, I'm not coming off the bench for Pat Beverly.
Yeah.
It's a big difference. You can't get mad at someone that's like, yo, Pat Bev. Then he goes to the Clippers. James Harden's in there. He's like, shoot, I can sit behind James Harden. Now he knows he can play. Russ knows that he's going to get his buckets, whether he's a starter or a backup.
Yeah.
And I think he can be that Bruce Brown role. The last point I want to say, and other thing I think no one talks about, I think Russell Westbrook might be playing with his best coach that he's had in his career. When I say the best coach, I mean the person that's the most player-friendly type of coach. I think Mike Malone can talk to Russ and get to Russ in a different way than any other coach has done that. And if you talk about people that have come to the Nuggets locker room, they all say it's the most. KCP was like, I was surprised how chill this locker room is, how unique it is, how much we support each other and love. I think Russ Westbrook's going to fit in really well with Jokic and all these people that's so egoless. You know what I'm saying? Like, they all are like, yo, we came to hoop, and that's all we care about is bucket getting.
And the other thing, don't help the youngins. I think, I call it the rookies. It's just, we're going to talk about it. Peyton Watson and him are pretty close right now. UCLA guys. So remember when people used to say when they go to the Olympics, they see other people practice and they get some motivation and they see how the good ones, the rest, whether you want to love it or not, he's an MVP. He knows what to do to get to that level. So he's going to come in with that kind of practice ability, style, vigor, excitement, whatever it is. And those youngins will learn from him about that because he will be in my mind, if I was motivating Russ, I'd be like, 2 things we can offer you. A look to get the championship, because that's what we do. And also to be the leader of that team, that little team that called the bench behind us. We had depth when we won a championship because we can always rely on the bench holding their minutes to the starters get back in, number one. Number two, that's what we want you to do.
I'll correct and say we had dogs. I don't think we had depth. We had dogs. That was the difference. We only ran 8 or 9 people when we won the championship, but we had Bruce Brown, we had Jeff Green, we had Christian Brown.
Yeah.
Dogs, right? All the way through.
And
no let up.
About Christian moving though.
We can get into that in a second.
Yeah, I wanted to talk.
I wanted to say one thing. Respond to something Kyle said. Pat Bev, you better learn Hebrew, my G.
That's where you'll be.
Yeah, see you in Tel Aviv, my guy. Later. Yeah. And then I think the thing about Russ and his buy-in, I think they have this narrative about him because he exerts bravado. And to your point, I do think that Coach Malone will be great for him. Ty Lue was a great coach for him, and I would say that you saw a lot of growth. From him in there.
Yeah. Mike Malone had cousins. He had some projects. Okay, I'm gonna call them that. I'm gonna say that he had some people who people might not want to have as a project to get him in, and the cousins loved him. Okay?
If Russ absolutely buys in to your point, Jace, he will be that Bruce Brown replacement. In terms of the starting 5, you're elevating Christian. And Christian, I said it so much ad nauseum last year, and I guess I'll say it again. His biggest thing for me, personally, Christoph Yalik, is hit the open 3. If you hit the open 3, you are now KCP. Like KCP would have games when he had like 21 points or 17 points. And he had like 5 threes in there. When you have that open 3 and you're playing that spot, that wing, you have that lockdown. I have no issues with your defense. And sometimes if you can insert, P. Watt in there, I have no issues with their defense. What I have issues with or just concerns with is their lack of consistency hitting the open 3. And you have to do that. And
I don't have
one last thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of slanderous on Calvin Booth, but what's new? It's me talking. We miss Gary Trent Jr. I thought Gary Trent Jr. would have been an excellent addition for us, but he's moving on to Milwaukee. Once we landed Russ, and we'll get into Sarge, but like those 2 additions made me feel fantastic about where we are. We'll get into this again. Holmes getting injured kind of took me a step back. So I still think we need one more thing. I would love a shooting guard. A shooting guard. Not necessarily a shooting guard as the position, but a guard who can shoot That's
Consistently.
consistently. And I've talked to some of my other Nuggets fans friends offline, and they think Strouthard's going to become it.
Yeah, he got it. We got to talk about that too.
If
Strouthard becomes that.
Let's finish.
Yeah, I was saying there's a couple things I want to get into,
first.
and I had something on Russ too. One, I think Christian has always played better with starters. I don't know if the issue with I think Christian's going to be fine when he plays with Jokic, Jamal, all those. I think when he's there is good. I'd say last point on Russ, and it's a sample size, but remember when we met Russ, remember?
Yeah.
I think Denver will enjoy Russ when they just meet him and how he is as a person. I think he gets a really bad rap of what his actual persona is and the way he plays on the court, the bravado and the style, and it makes for people not like Russ. But if you just meet him on the street, this dude was very nice, he was overly nice actually for what we saw on that day.
Yep.
So I just think there's a level of Russ that I think Denver is going to love when they get to meet him from that side of things.
Yes.
And the last point, if you listen to this Nuggets or Just Nuggets podcast all last year, all we talked about was the bench. Like if Russ comes in and only handles the bench, we're good, because that was the thing that pissed us off all season long. Like every episode went by, and the only thing we talked about was the Nuggets may not win this. Well, we always had optimism. We're always optimistic. We always said Nuggets, if they can get this bench, and we just never did it. We didn't do it the trade deadline. To your point, Chris, Calvin Booth didn't do his job. We're just hoping for something to that bench. We would have been glad with Gordon Hayward, because all we needed was 6 minutes to win against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So now that we have Russ, I'm not saying he's the answer, and he may have a bad game.
I'm saying he's the answer.
I mean, I guess I should say this. I believe he's the answer.
Yes.
But I'm saying he might have bad games or whatever. But I think when it comes to that bench, he has free range to run that bench the way it needs to.
Yeah.
You give him that energy, like Peyton Watson and Russ. That just seems like a great combo defensively and just like throwing oops and stuff.
Before we move on out of Russ,
the bench gets a bad rap. The bench gets a bad rap.
No. The bench gets exactly the rap they deserve. Come on.
No,
I don't want to get into that. That was last season. We're looking forward. They get the rap they deserve. To your point, Kyle, before we end this Russ talk, Russ is definitely one of those players that you hate when he's going against you and love when he's on your team. Obviously not us. I've always liked him, but I think there's a lot of Nuggets fans who have not liked Russ because he was he was going against them, and a lot of the times he was beating the mess out of us. Yeah. And now he's on your team. He's one of those guys who he's gonna become your favorite Nugget by the end of the year.
And they didn't like him in LA. That was his two things. He didn't fit with LeBron and AD, like that organ. But that happens. Like Russ didn't fit well with he didn't fit well with LeBron, AD, and he didn't fit well with Paul George and Carmelo. But that's beside. And then let KD tell you he didn't fit well with him. But also they went to the NBA championship. Yeah. They blew a 3-1 lead against Golden State where they should have been back in the finals. I think it worked with them. I think KD and Russ's personalities are different.
And also the coach with the Lakers he's
and then like I said, he
had a fantastic coach who put him in the right system. So like you can say it didn't work out, but it was like probably because the system sucked too. So
you're right. Only besides I think Tyronn Lue is his best coach, period. Besides that, Scott Brooks is cool, but you saw Scott Brooks when he didn't have KD and Westbrook. Like he was terrible in Washington.
He's gonna love Michael Malone, and I'm just gonna get back. I think you misunderstood me when I said the bench gets a bad rap. I'm talking about the bench in general in basketball, not at the Nuggets and our bench. Last year I said the bench
Chunk up. I love it.
Team. The bench is a part of a team. It's the starters and it's the bench. And if you have both, you're winning. Ask Boston. Okay, because they had it all. They had the starters that were good. They had the bench that was deep, and they won. And the year we won, look what happened to us. We had the starters that were good, and we had the bench that was good enough, and we won. And that's all I'm saying.
I said this already, but you need a bench with no let up. You know what I mean? You need a bench that has no let up. Yeah. Like it's just it keeps coming at you. It comes at you in waves because there's only about 4 teams every season that have a good bench. And I'm being very generous when I say 4. It's probably like 2, maybe 3. And when you have the team that has a good bench, typically you're going to get to the conference finals.
Yeah, you are.
bare
Yes, you
minimum
are.
you're gonna get there because you have no let up. And when the
Yep.
Nuggets went to Kyle's point, the rotation was 8 people, but to his point, they
They
were
were good.
absolute dogs. They were
And they
filthy,
knew
and
their
there was no
role.
let
And
up.
they
They
knew
had
their
no let
role.
up.
It was no fussing, oh, I want to be a starter or whatever it is. I just think that Russ has a golden opportunity. I hope he seizes the moment because we're ready for him to seize the moment. But his job, in my mind, and I'm sure it's going to be in Michael Malone's mind, is to run this bench for him. And if he can
And
do
before we
that,
move on, and the last point, before we move on to the next Nuggets acquisition, I just have to talk a little mess about Minnesota. Minnesota had a great bench, but here's the thing about Minnesota. They had low aim. You know, what is it? Not failure, but low aim is
Yeah.
in. You guys had your aim was to beat the Nuggets. Your
Yeah.
aim should have been to win a championship because you guys had everything you deserve, everything you had. Everything you had was to win a championship, and yet you guys checked out like some punks. Like, come on, have you had fun winning one more game than us. On to the next. See you guys next season.
Hey, Chris.
Good job. You guys got to the conference finals.
Ask Trae Young.
Get off the sticks.
Ask Trae Young. There is no spare championship runs, bro.
No.
You could be looking around 4 years from now and be nowhere close to back where y'all were in that position.
Do not ever never take it for granted when you get that close. Ask Dallas. Dallas got to the conference finals and then hit rock bottom. They missed out on the playoffs. And then they got back to the finals.
Dude, ask Denver. Literally last year,
7 games.
We won the championship. The next year we came back, we lost 2 pieces, didn't add to it, and we don't get back to the championship because again, you're playing in the hardest sport, professional sport of this. Like the best talent is in the USA basketball.
Boston will learn this season, as will Minnesota, as will Dallas. When you win, you become the target. You know, now everybody starts to design their team to take out your best players, to take out your bench, to take out your coaching. And they circle and they'll play like it's the NBA finals the second week of December. And week after week, game after game, that takes a toll. And yes, and I hated that the Nuggets like gave into it. They said it took a toll, but guess what? That was their first time winning a championship. Now, inshallah, when they win their second one and they're going for 3, they'll know that every team is gunning for them. And I'm sorry, I have to jump sport really fast. Kansas City learned that on their way back to the Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl. That next year, they found out that every team is gunning for them. Every single team circles them, and that's their Super Bowl, right? By time you get to now where they currently are, and they went back, they had the ability to go back to back, it's because they have that hardwired. They already know that it's their Super Bowl. But it literally, Kyle can attest, they didn't go back to back off the jump. They won, lost, came back and won. That's the difference because they knew as soon as you win, it's going to be even harder. And the Nuggets just learned that lesson this year. So
out of your
if
mouth,
I ever had to agree, I'm going to be a broken clock because I'm talking about a broken clock. If I ever had to agree with Calvin Booth, if you had to sacrifice a year to learn that lesson, so then when you get 3 of 4 or 3 of 5 or whatever the idiocy he said, sure, I agree, sure.
Yo, Christoph, let me talk to me about Saric. Dario Saric. Do you think he is a good? Because we talked about the Bruce Brown replacement. Do you think he's a good Jeff Green replacement?
I think truly it goes back to what we were saying, and it's what we talked about last year. And if you are a fan of this podcast, it's kind of been like our MO, to be honest with you. We talk about the bench. We really do. We are just Nuggets. But we are a Just Nuggets bench podcast because when you have the best player in the world, you have the best number 2 in the world, in my opinion. Yeah. And you have one of the best coaches. You have MPJ, even though MPJ, I love him. 7 points in Game 7. You have to really get over that one for me.
I still think we got one of the best. I think we got the best 4 in the NBA. I'm still not. I'm not
sure.
We might not have the best 5, but we got the best 4. That's. Us or Boston.
I'm not gonna get into that with you. Whatever. That is what it is. They're established. That's what you're saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think Sarge, much like Russ, he helps that bench, and that's all that matters. Because you need to be able to stay. And I think Sarge is going to surprise a lot of Nuggets fans because I don't think a lot of people understand how I think he's an efficient shooter. I think he plays with a high motor, and I think he's a great passer. And I think that is good enough for me. I really do. And I think if he has a high motor, obviously Westbrook's is, what it is. It's Hall of Fame level high motor, very well documented at this point in his career. If that's what you have coming off your bench, it's going to probably take a little second, I would say, by Christmas. Hopefully it gels. But like I think that second unit, if they stay healthy, because I think after the events of the summer, I think we have to start saying stuff like that. If they're able to stay healthy, I think it's a good second unit. I would love once more to have a shooter come off that bench. Maybe it's Strother, maybe it's not. But I think I like Saric. He played with Golden State last year. I remember him from his run with the Suns. And honestly, this is a hot take. I'm gonna say it though. The Suns, when he was on the Suns in that 2001 season, or excuse me, 2021 season, when he tore his ACL, that kind of like really messed up their trajectory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's the reason they lost that finals, because Milwaukee was a team with a mission, but like him not being like, they had a lot of size, and that would have been hard for Milwaukee to counter if he was playing at his height. Like when they beat the Nuggets and he was dogging, that was tough to beat. Then he tore his ACL, and that really changed some stuff. But like I really do like that pickup. I'll tip my hat to Calvin Booth on that one. I didn't see that one, and I didn't necessarily see the allure of it, but I don't hate it.
Oh, I do. Here's the summer league references here. Julian had a great summer league, and so much so that he played 2 games and they said enough. We've seen enough. He was hitting threes like it was okay. Now I know it wasn't like superior defenders in his face in summer league. I get that, but he had a good sense. He looked very comfortable. He looked like he was back to hitting his threes, and his threes are nice. So if he could do that on the bench for us and get those kind of points every time, great. Number 2, Peyton Watson. He's got to step up and show up and solidify his positioning in that bench as well. And then I think we're good. And then that way, Michael Malone has options. If somebody's out, if MPJ's out, then he can put Strother in there and he can do that. He has options. And so that's why we talk about the bench so much. You cultivate your bench, then you have replacements for your starters when they're not, they're down or out or resting or whatever it is. So I think those two, Strother had a good summer. Peyton Watson, we have to see if he did. We haven't seen him play. We just hoping, and we're hoping that CB had a good one, because he got more responsibility now. As Michael Malone said, no one has won that spot yet, but they sure are penciling his name in there. So
I don't hate the bench if you're talking about it from the sense of you got Westbrook running the point, Strother can knock down the 3. Saric can hit shots. He can hit 3. I think he was pretty high on this.
He's tall. He's
on his
tall,
3-point
right?
shooting this year. Last year rather. Peyton Watson's more of a slasher, and then you're gonna have Jamal still stagger. So you're still gonna have people, or you're gonna have someone stagger per game.
Yeah.
I don't hate that flow of offense.
Yeah.
I think it can move pretty well. I would have, you'd have to see it over and over for a whole season. But I think that team can play well.
Yeah, and if you go down below that 9 number, you got Cancard that they
Cancard can step up.
And then of course Najee with a big contract that we need to think about what we're gonna do.
Well, I think the Najee thing was,
I think it rhymes with Schrade.
Yeah, I think that Najee was bad in real time, and it's only proceeded to be something.
He gets $8 million, $8+ million a year. So
I'm all for a black man making his money, and the NBA is full of them. But like the NBAs are also full of Zeke Najee's. You know what I mean? And that's all it is like a black man making money, like, because he ain't doing nothing else other than that. And I really do.
Somebody that we need.
I really do like. You know what Zeke Najee is? He's like, I really like great personality. You know what I mean? Like, he's a great personality, but like, if he was on Cleveland, if he was on, Charlotte, if he was on Memphis, like if he was on New Orleans, I would still like Zeke Najee all the same. When he's on the Denver Nuggets, that's my issue with Zeke Najee.
Right.
We're going into year 4 with Zeke Najee. I get it. I get it. There's nothing more for me to see. The dude could very well turn into Bobo, or who else has left the Nuggets and become something? Hartenstein.
Well, Gary
or-
Harris is still on the team, so he left long time ago. I don't know if he came in the
but Gary
80s
Harris,
or
his best
Gary
days were with
Harris, but-
Nuggets. Like someone like who was on the Nuggets left and kind of became pretty decent.
Yeah.
There's not really many, not in this Jokic Murray era, but like still like if he's the first one to really break out and he's not on the Nuggets, he's on Toronto. Sure, I'm sorry we missed out. I wish you played better for us, but like,
Yeah.
I'm good. I really do. Like I said, great personality, great guy. Love that black man's making money, but like, please
What
get rid
about
of him.
Cancard? What about Cancard?
We'll see how he comes back from the injury.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we saw him in some exhibition games and Olympic stuff or something. He was slow. It's hard. Now we're talking about coming back from injury. You talked about our rookie, getting down with his Achilles. So he's going to be out the whole year, that we drafted, and sad. I feel bad for the kid.
His name is Daron Holmes. You want to talk a little bit more about that, Kyle?
Yeah, so Daron Holmes, he played pretty well in college. I thought it was a great move by the organization. So shout out to Chris's boy Calvin Booth for moving up in the draft and getting him. I think he's going to have a good career with the Nuggets, or at least he's going to be a good center backup for Jokic. It sucks that he got hurt first game of the Summer League. He was playing well
very well.
From what I watched.
Dunking.
He could hit the floor. He can play defense. He can dunk. He can shoot three. He has a well-rounded game. So just gotta keep his family in our prayers. Make sure he's stayed locked in. We've had tons of Nuggets who haven't played their rookie year.
Yeah.
From Michael Porter Jr. to Bo to, well, those are the main ones. But so we've had guys that. I guess the Nuggets, I would say, have a good system where rookies don't play crazy anyways. So he can sit back and kind of watch the game and figure out a way to acclimate himself to the NBA game.
Right.
Because he wasn't going to play crazy minutes, especially when we're about to sign Saric anyways. I think once we picked Saric, I kind of showed that we're going to have a slower approach to him playing. So DJ is going to have to be our backup center.
Yeah.
In those moments where Jokic can't go.
That's what I'm saying. We got a 4. The
and then
4 or 5 is like got a
being sad. Yeah, it wasn't
ton of backups. We got we got Sarge, we got DJ, we have Najee. So then we got a bunch of backups for that 4 or 5.
And this sucks to say, to be honest with you, but like, if there was a team that understands and can like level with him, it is the Nuggets. Like Jamal could go in there and is like, I lost a season and a half. Michael Porter's like, I've lost a season. I did, to Kyle's point, like I didn't even play my rookie year. Here's what you should be doing, just getting better. And it sucks because it's an Achilles. That's a very, 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 very tough thing to come back from. And I pray that he's young and great doctors and great rehab to get him back where we all hope he can be. But once more, it just sounds bad to say, but like if there was a good situation for this to happen, I don't think the Nuggets are the worst situation. Does that make sense?
They're not the worst team that this happened to. It's it's kind of like the way you get through the Nuggets sometimes. Yeah. So let's talk about Jamal Murray. I pray that Jamal comes back healthy. I think we need to do, we went through a whole year now. We know what the issues are with our starting team. You need to rest them, with much more vigor than we did last year. Like somebody said, I heard somebody say when Michael Malone knows he's going to win a game and it's 8 minutes remaining, you're going to keep your starters in there. And if you do that 82 games, you wear them out. You cannot do that. So along the way, you got to manage your starters more than you can. That's why we talked about the bench for
That's
the
what I say. If you have a good bench, you can do that. Like we had no good bench last year, so they had to play exorbitant amount of minutes. And the other thing that sucked was that you had behemoths in the West. Like you were fighting for the 1 seed. The year before, you locked up the 1 seed in early March. So you essentially March was a wash. March and early April was a wash last season. That wasn't the case. You was fighting down to the last game.
But I expect them to have a plan. They got to have a plan for maintenance of the starters if you want to get through the season to get to that playoff season and be right. You saw weakness when we played the Lakers, but they were the Lakers and we had beat them, and they won one more game than they did the last time. Okay, so what? But then it was just exposed when we played Minnesota. and they were motivated to beat us anyway. So we can't find ourselves there this year. We got to manage that situation all the whole season. So that's one thing I think they can improve on. And I'm gonna go from the top to the bottom again. What about your people that's at the bottom of your roster? What do? Package them up, put them
We're
in.
talking about Hunter Tyson,
Yep.
Jalen
Pickett.
I don't know, Christoph, you said you didn't get a chance to watch all the summer league games, but I didn't think they played much of anything. They're gonna be
Jalen Pickett.
Pickett wasn't great at all. People are saying
Pickett. I guess
people
the only thing I can say to Jalen Pickett is ni hao.
Bro, they were saying he's not. I've seen people on Twitter saying he ain't even an NBA player, which I think is crazy.
That is crazy.
That's crazy because I literally said that upon draft. Like on ESPN when they draft him, they do like the little highlight reel. I was like, bro, we picked a bum. Like immediately, I was like, this dude's
I
knew that dude was trash. I'm sorry, Pickett. I knew you was trash from the jump. I knew
he's
you was
on
trash.
a world championship team.
Yeah,
No, he was not. He was not on the world championship team.
Yeah, he's on our team.
He got picked on the team that was world champs.
No, he got picked on the team that didn't have Bruce Brown. He didn't have Jeff Green.
He
was on the team that did not win a championship. That dude needs to go to China, to the G League.
I think you're wrong. Here's this.
I think he'll be a great player for Grand Rapids this season. He will not play for the Denver Nuggets.
That's fair. No, that's fair. But what I'm saying is this: I think with the NBA, I think the wide berth that the NBA has is different than any other sport. Guys can be average or not that good for a while, find a place and be really solid basketball players.
Yes.
So I'm not calling them trash or you gotta go to China like you're saying.
No.
I think there's a moment that he could be someone. I just don't think the thought of him being the backup point guard is a scary thought.
Of all people.
And the fact that we're going to do that at one point in this off season was scaring a lot of people when we were watching the summer league.
If it's scaring you, then the dude needs to go to the G League.
Yeah, same with Tyson.
In the case of Jalen Pickett, I don't know, Equinox, like LA Fitness.
Same with Tyson.
Tyson got to be right anywhere you send.
You know what's funny? The thing I love most about Tyson is this podcast saw one game with him last year and was like, "Yo, we got one."
Oh, it was more than one game.
His swagger on this. That dude be hitting jump shots. I don't think I saw him hit a jump shot after July 2023. I don't think I still to today. I don't think I've seen him hit a jump shot after July 2023, bro. And here's the thing. I'll talk bad about these dudes, because these dudes don't need to be on our team anymore. Like they get the perks of NBA. Like they got blue checks in their DMs. Because you are in the NBA, you're making millions of dollars. You guys do not need to be in the NBA anymore.
Well,
sorry.
Like I said, that's why I said.
The guy that played well in summer league.
That's why I said.
I think Kyle. I think the team that will do very well with Jalen Pickett would be FC Barcelona.
Like I said, bro.
Oh boy.
I'm not saying you're wrong or that might not end up being their reality. I just say that the NBA is one of those places where they may just not be good on this team, but I don't mean because Christoph, you were just showing me somebody on Serbia that you like, we could be on our team. That dude ain't even played in the NBA in years. So
he's been in the NBA. He played for Charlotte last year.
I'm saying there's a lot of dudes that played in the NBA that have moved on and done other things that came back. Yeah. Like Dante Exum was terrible in the NBA, went to Australia. Came back and now he's playing on an NBA Finals team, and he was. I'd
have to say this to Jalen Pickett: maybe go to Australia. You know what I mean? Like if that's what it takes, follow that life trajectory with Dante Exum, because Dante Exum has come back and has proven to be an NBA player. At this moment in time, Pickett and Tyson are not NBA players, and to that.
On a championship team. It's the part
bro. Then go to Washington. Then
that's my point. It's on a championship team.
You can't trade.
Go to Kyle's Detroit. Go to Kyle's Detroit.
Do something.
Just don't be here.
And
because they're not good. Here's what I was gonna say. Last thing, Jays. Last thing I'll say. Of the 3 draft picks, right? You had Julian, Pickett, and Hunter. If you get one to pan out, I'll take that every year.
Yeah, I'm saying you can get
3. You get one to pan out. That's good. I'm looking at Julian Strother now. The other two, are the other two.
Okay, then we had
It's a double. I'm just saying it's double-edged sword. You kind of have to play them so they have trade value.
Yes.
You can't we can't go to the market right now and be like, hey, we're gonna give you Jalen Pickett and Hunter Tyson. Who wants them? Like that's not how it works. It's like same with Najee. Like we gotta have Najee hoop out a little bit so then we can be like, all right, we're about to trade Najee.
You. And it was the guy Lyles, Trey Alexander.
Trey Alexander again.
Yeah.
I know it's the summer league, so now I feel like we gotta
talk about it.
No, I'd say mellow hype, but Trey Alexander he had a great summer league for what I was a fan of him. PJ Hall, another guy from Clemson, he's a backup center now. He may step up and maybe get some of those minutes if he can continue to improve. But there are some good highlights. Trey Alexander would look like he could be. I would be honestly. This is to our point about Pickett or Jalen Pickett. I think I would have right now. I have more confidence that Trey Alexander could play backup point guard for the Nuggets than Jalen, based on the summer league.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think many Nuggets fans would argue with that one.
That's why we had this podcast. We don't always agree. We just give you the facts. That's it. So what is our next section?
I would say the only other thing about summer league is that Mike Malone made a comment about Julian Strawther.
He did.
That was very interesting. He said, "I am not ruling him out of being a starter."
Yeah.
So he is putting a little push
Pressure.
to CB and saying, "Hey, CB, Julian Strawther is playing great basketball." And I think, to me, I like Julian Strawther getting minutes with Jokic too, because again, he slashes and he can shoot.
And hit those threes when you can.
You gotta step up as a defender. Gotta step up as a defender to be on the start.
Last thing, Kyle. Last thing I'll say about this.
I would say Mike Malone did allude to the fact that
it was open.
There's a world where he could start.
It was open. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll was not read between those lines. He'll be a good off the bench, and I'm looking forward to Strawther's play this season. What I will say about Trey, let's just end this Jalen Pickett stuff. Like, cut the loss. Trey is better than Jalen Pickett.
Right, he is.
It is what it is.
I'm just saying, what can you do?
Put your chips behind him. Send him to G League.
My thing is
you can trade someone off of G League potential too.
Sure
So
I bet they are. I bet they are still on.
That's what I would do. Pickett.
They might still be two-way guys.
We are scratching the bottom of the barrel. If we have a back and forth about Jalen Pickett and Hunter Tyson,
but this is opening.
They are not good. They are not good.
You were the one that want to call it summer league. So just to let you know, this is the summer league. This is the part.
No, I'm saying we're scratching the bottom of the barrel when we talk about them
I will
coming
say
out of the summer league and being on the bench.
I said
Trey Alexander is the only one who should, out of this little trio that we're saying, he's better than Pickett, and he could be on the team.
But this is what I'm saying. You got two-way contracts. I'm gonna sound like you got two-way contracts and you got three. But I'm saying the Nuggets literally have two-way contracts. The one guy that has it is Trey Alexander. The other guy that has it is JP Hall. So it's not like Hunter Tyson or Jalen Pickett can be our two-way guys. That was them last year. They're just gonna be guys on the bench. They got to find a way to get on the roster, or they got to be good locker room guys, and it is what it is.
And when we're beating somebody 170,
they'll get in. Like we can't do nothing. You can't trade them.
Yeah,
you drafted them. They're just a part of the team, and it is what it is, bro.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's go to Not Nuggets, and we'll keep it simple and just say who has gotten better in the West.
The Nuggets?
Of course, I'm saying let's say not Nuggets. Any team outside.
I know, but we don't know. I mean, we know what they may have done or not, but I need to see people play. I kind of stay in this state of mind always. I need to see them play in a game that matters, and I can tell you if they did better. To answer it now, it's just going to be the talent factor. Is the talent better than what we got or something? And right now, I think we got good talent for what we needed. But
I'll say one team that got better from the I'd say one team that got better during the offseason just because they have so much money, they have a lot of draft capital, and they can do a lot of different things. The Thunder adding Hartenstein, I think, was a good move for them. I say they did a good move. I actually do. I don't know if he'll be able to become
Caruso too.
Huh?
They got Caruso too.
They got Caruso too. So they got Caruso and they got Hartenstein. I think that adds to a team that was already emerging.
they had no spots because you just saw that in the playoffs last year,
Yeah.
OKC lost totally because they had nobody tall.
And it's like Hartenstein's the answer, but I think Hartenstein with Chet, you can balance out
Yeah.
some of that. What Chet can't do, Hartenstein
And
can.
Chet was new. Chet, this is his first playoff.
That was his first year.
Yeah, come on.
So I like them, and I think Minnesota. Only reason I say Minnesota is because they got a steal with Rob Dillingham, and if he can develop throughout the year, become like a Mike Conley backup that actually can provide really good minutes off that bench, maybe their bench has gotten stronger with somebody like a Rob Dillingham. He was great in Kentucky. I don't think you can doubt a Kentucky basketball player no more. I just think guards from Kentucky are just have had a good 10-year run in the NBA, and I think he'll join them because even in the summer league, Reed, the guy from Houston, the point guard, what's his name? Reed something. He was hooping out. He was really. I think I'll say Shepard. I want to say Reed Shepard, but he was hooping out for Houston. So Kentucky basketball always good guards.
I heard somewhere, Christoph, that Nuggets were still number 3 in the NBA to win the odds to win the championship. So they thought we did good, and that was before we got Russ. But maybe it was during the time they heard that Russ may be coming, and they factored it in. I'm not sure.
You don't think the Lakers got better with Bronny?
No.
All right, just ask him.
Nope.
Christoph, no comments.
I
What
was
about?
gonna say we have to add a Bronny thing in there.
Yeah, I got
Get
it.
the,
Like
get
I
the ratings
said,
up.
Hey,
No,
wait,
what
is
I was
Bronny
gonna
gonna be our new Carmelo? Because remember
Yeah, I always got to drop.
Kyrie-
You just did it.
my answer,
three
yeah, for real, right? No,
Huh?
we said Melo 3 times today, so
Yeah, we
Oh,
just
really?
said
the
Melo.
Melo
Yeah.
streak
And wait till we
continues.
talk about the Olympics at the end here. I'm just
I
advancing my pick.
I wasn't sure if Kyle noticed what he said. He's like, it also didn't work well with Paul
Melo.
George and Melo.
Melo.
I was like, okay.
Right.
So then we'll just
But-
be adding Bronny in that drop.
Yeah, just to really boost morale here. But
Yeah,
no,
right.
I don't think the team I'm gonna pick. I don't think it's not gonna say like, oh, they're gonna be the best in the West or they're gonna win the West or anything. But I think just looking at what team in the West got better, I had to throw a curveball up there, and I say San Antonio because I really like the addition. I do. I know Kyle's looking at me crazy. I really like the addition of Chris Paul. He's old, but I think he'll do well with Wemby to like establish like this like. There's now adults in the room, and then they also got Harrison Barnes. I think that's just like the veteran leadership that someone like Wemby, who's gonna become the next dominant face of the league, he needs that on his ascent up. You know what I mean? And I do, and like once more, they may not even win their division. They may contend for a play-in spot. I don't think, but that's better than picking 1, 2, 3 in the draft like they've been doing. And I don't think I can't discredit that. And I also I really like Edie.
I got
like
one point on that.
Edie to Memphis.
I was gonna say this,
good.
Chris. I would say, welcome to the play-in. That's basically what you said for the Spurs. Is like, welcome to the play-in, bro.
But that's an increase. They got better. That's what I'm saying. Like, are they going to contend for the West? No, absolutely not. But I really do think that when you look back at Wemby's career, him playing with Chris Paul, even if it's for a season, will make him a better player. And I don't think
also going to the Olympics and hooping has made.
Yeah, going to the Olympics and hooping.
But I'm just saying you can't discredit that. So once more, they will be better than they were last year.
And what was your Memphis point you were going to make?
I like how they drafted Edie. Huh?
You like who?
What are you saying?
We just want to name drop because this is his boy. Go ahead, say it.
Who?
Edie. See?
Yeah. I thought that was a good draft pick to pair with the thing about Edie, he's
just tall.
Bigs need to be able he's tall. Bigs need to be able to be a little bit more agile at this level. You know, we have the best one in the league, but then there's another great one in Philadelphia. What they both have in common is they're very much so they're skilled. They can dribble, they can step back, they can shoot, they can they can post you up, they can move. Edie, if he only posts you up, you got to be able to do something else. So I just like that Memphis got him. I think that'll be a good spot for them to grow.
And they get job back.
Yeah, you guys, I said Nuggets, but I was not kidding. I think we got better. I know we talked about Russell. I think we talked about, what we got picked up, I guess. But I'm talking about, hopefully, my fingers are crossed that MPJ and AG have been practicing and doing their thing. I think MPJ didn't finish the season the way he wanted to. He's finished his 82 games like he wanted to because he was balling and he balled out in the Lakers series, but being tired or whatever you want to say, hitting the wall. And no one did as best as they could.
But we said that about. I'll push back slightly. We did say that about Michael Porter the year before too.
Yeah, and he got better. And he got better. That's my point. So I'm hoping he did that. I hope that motivates him now to do it now throughout the whole thing. Okay?
I think he just has to become the Michael Porter that he is in the regular season, in the playoffs.
And keep working on that.
Keep at that.
And maybe
that's
he'll
his goal.
surprise us. So
but I just think the way the Nuggets are built, he's another one of those guys. Play your role, play well.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be better for it.
Right.
We don't need you to be extra, Michael.
No.
Porter. We need you to just hit the open three, drive to the lane, play defense, do your game. Because in the way the Nuggets offense works, if you just play that part, same with AG, step it up a little bit, that offense is going to flourish.
And I think same with AG. We all saw it. They were just beat down. By the time they got to play a really good team like Minnesota, they got to be up. And so I hope that I put the Nuggets up there. I agree with the NBA or whoever the odds makers were that said we were number 3 to win. I can't remember who number 1 and 2. I'm sure it was Boston.
And that's what I'm saying. You want to switch to the East. Was there any team in the East that you looked at their free agency and you said, this team got better?
Boston, because they signed all their stuff.
I was going to say that too. I really don't have no one. I think Boston, the fact that they got all their guys back. Derek White just got under contract. KP's coming back. Yeah. They got what the Nuggets wanted with Bruce Brown coming back. They wanted their guys.
They had the back of the brick.
But I will say this. There might be trouble in paradise in Boston, and you can't. I used to not care about these things, but they do play a part because you saw it with Draymond, you saw it with Jordan Poole. Jaylen Brown not going to the Olympics. There could be some riffles there.
With the Olympics,
Jaylen Brown. I'm just saying, Jaylen Brown's been on Twitter. He's been saying some stuff that's you never know. Tatum didn't get his MVP award at the finals. He felt like he was entitled to the there's.
Mom,
championship.
This is some ice spice that Kyle's throwing around here. He's just fishing.
Just saying.
Just fishing.
Championship. Sometimes teams break from within.
He's reading the tea leaves.
Sometimes the champpion team.
Kyle's putting tea leaves up and then reading.
Yeah. The tea he's sipping has that in there. I got
I'm hitting my what's his name? Brian Windhorst.
Yeah.
I'm hitting my Windhorst.
Yeah. I could see that. He didn't get to go. Jaylen Brown is not at the Olympics.
And imagine you getting jumped for Derek White when you know you better than Derek White.
No, but they needed
it's still the ego. The ego still matters. And he's got the girl. He's got his girl from Chicago.
Oh my God.
He got money.
Oh my God.
It's a lot of that plays into it.
Here's the thing. No. Here's the thing. He has the ability to be there, but they needed Holiday and they needed a Derek White.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna push back. They almost lost to South Sudan. They needed Jaylen Brown. I don't agree with that no more. They need all the help they can get because they almost lost to South Sudan.
We'll get into that in a second.
They didn't even know.
Okay, then why they almost lost to Germany the next 2 days?
We'll get into that momentarily.
Yeah, they almost lost to Germany 2 days later, so something is up.
I think to answer your question once more, I'm doing this again about who got better in the East. I think the East pretty much stayed pat. The fact that the champion just re-signed everybody. I thought Philadelphia was the second or third best team in the East. All they did was get Paul George. But they remained the second or best third team in the East. Like I don't think that really moved them up. They got they signed back Maxey, but do you say they're better than Boston?
No.
I don't know. So that means you're still the second or third best team in the East. Because I also think Milwaukee had a great offseason because they got Taurean Prince, DeLon Wright, and Gary Trent Jr. That really helps bolster them a lot. So I think those 3 teams. I really like what the Knicks did. I feel like the Knicks. I really do like what the Knicks did. I think now they're full. Now they went full. They got all the Infinity Stones. Now they're really the Nova Knicks.
They got all 6 of them. Yep, they did.
They really got all. They really bought into it. But they have no flexibility to do anything anymore.
They kept OG too, though. They kept OG.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. They did everything they needed to do, including get tell Mikal Bridges to come over to Manhattan. So it's like I really do dig what I think. But once more, those are the 4 best teams in the East last season.
Can I
Boston,
add one?
Milwaukee, Knicks, and
Miami.
Yes,
and
that's what I was gonna
Boston,
say.
Milwaukee, Knicks, and Philadelphia.
You
So
never-
I really don't think the power structure in the East changed anymore. They just got heavier fisted.
I add Miami because whenever Miami goes against Boston, they give them fits, and I think Boston. I don't think Miami's out of it in that sense.
And they didn't change their coach.
Yeah, I don't think you should. I think Boston.
You want to talk about
and
trouble in
look-
paradise when Pat Riley's talking about JimmyUtler and how his attitude needs to change and all that stuff. That is well documented.
But
What
they
you're
did nothing
saying,
about
you're
it.
pulling
What
the
did they do in
ether.
offseason? They did nothing about that.
I'm just
They
saying,
did
don't
nothing.
count out Miami
They
because
added Alec Burks.
no, it's not
Congrats.
even about who they.
You added Alec Burks to an eighth seed.
But Boston,
Sure.
Miami's always been like that. They weren't even supposed. Like if you're just looking at how it was, the Nuggets were supposed to play Miami last summer. Miami finds a way to win. I think the moment you realize that Miami is just gritty, that's how they play.
Yeah.
So you can't count them out because if they go against Boston and Jimmy Butler, even in this series, the series they played with them, one game they played, they was right there with them until they were like, okay, Jimmy Butler got hurt in the play-in, blah blah blah. They packed it in,
Let's see.
but they're always there, and I just don't think you should just quit on Miami just because they don't look the part of these other 5 teams. Or
And
other
you
4
know,
teams
and
or
it's
something.
funny, we're gonna go to this, we're getting this next, I know, but I'm advancing a little bit. We're talking about who didn't get on it, like Jaylen Brown is not on the Olympic team, whatever, but Halliburton is, and we didn't mention the name of Indiana.
Yeah, do you think Indiana got better? I don't even know who. I might. It's been a
If
second.
y'all don't
I
know
want to
the
see who they
answer,
added.
no.
They
They
signed back Nimhard. They signed back Siakam. They got back Obi Top, and so that was your core of the team that went to the finals or to the conference finals. And then you signed James Wiseman.
Yeah.
I think they're still mid. No. Do you
Yeah,
think
they're-
in a 7-game series, are you putting that lineup against a healthy Philadelphia?
No, they
I'm taking
surprised teams.
Philadelphia.
I think they surprised teams this year, and now teams know who they are, and that's all. I think they're going to be the Atlanta Hawks of the East.
Yeah.
They did something incredible this year, but now they're going to have to actually add because teams aren't going to overlook them no more.
No, now you have a bullseye on you.
Yeah, it's like okay.
I 100% agree with you, Kyle. They are the Atlanta Hawks.
I don't know why I'm
They
giving Atlanta so much.
made a run to the conference finals.
Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah,
but
but
Ja's back.
But Memphis only made it to the second round. They've always
Memphis never made it to the conference
because they can
finals.
never keep Ja in the lineup. I mean, if they can keep Ja in the lineup, they get a lot further. But man ain't ever there.
I don't know why you're shooting shots at Ja right now, Mom.
Because he's never in there.
Chris was the one that shot the shots with Ja. I heard.
No, Mom out here sniping.
What
Ja,
about speaking of one last thing about the teams that made moves? Do you like the DeMar DeRozan move to the Kings?
I thought I was gonna say the Kings, but then I saw that they lost Harrison Barnes, and that was kind of where I was like, it's a lateral move a little bit. I love DeRozan. Don't get me wrong.
What about
But, like, it's
KCP to
kinda
Orlando
lateral.
too?
Stop it.
Orlando was already they already were.
Kyle, that's what I'm
team.
saying. Is like
They
I
could have
really
won
don't
that.
think
They could have won that first round. They went to Game 7. KCP on the team adds another. Orlando's a weird team. Like they don't have. I guess if Paulo Banchero makes a big jump, they finally got that superstar. But they got a lot of great players.
But
they
break into that top 4? I just
they have
mentioned.
they can run an 11-man roster almost.
I don't think they break into that top 4 because you put them against Boston. Do they win in a 7-game series?
No.
But they
you
play
put them against
Cavs
Philadelphia.
Again.
If you play against Philadelphia, do they get into?
No.
Do they win in a? No.
Right.
What about New York? What about New York?
No.
They play the Pacers
They
first
haven't
round.
broke into Milwaukee.
No.
Maybe. I think it goes 6-7.
No.
But I still give the edge to Milwaukee because they're the better player.
Yeah.
Orlando
So,
is a
do they break into that top
team.
4? No. Orlando was 5 last year. I don't think they broke into that top 4. Yes, they may have hurdled Cleveland.
Defense wins championship. Orlando.
Yes, they'll hurdle or Indiana. But like, I still think it's a Mount Rushmore over there in the East.
Yeah.
And
I get you.
will Orlando break through that? I think the weakest of that top 4 is Milwaukee. But like I said, I thought Milwaukee had a good offseason. So
You know me.
I don't know. I think it's finally for the first time. I think the West is a little bit more wide open. You got Minnesota, you got us, and you got OKC at the top.
And Dallas, but I've been calling for a Nuggets Boston.
I'm sorry. No,
Championship.
I'm not. No, I'm not putting
No, I'm just saying I've been calling for a Nuggets Boston championship last year. I'm gonna stick to that because I think those are the two teams that you'd want to see in the NBA Finals, Boston versus Nuggets. So I'd love for that to be what we see this year with the Nuggets winning. With that being said, it is the end of July.
2 minutes remaining.
So we must go to our 2 minutes remaining
2 minutes remaining.
and talk about the Olympics because you only get to do this every 4 years.
Yeah.
With COVID, you got to do it in 3
And
years.
it's in the summer and it kind of works.
And it's the summer. So we're not leaving basketball, even though we could.
Mhm.
I'm staying in the lane of basketball and asking, what do you think about this USA basketball team? Because personally, on paper, they may be the second. They can literally, if you put them on a basketball court, they could compete with any team we've ever put out in the US Team USA basketball lineage. Now, these last couple of exhibitions have kind of scared some people to say, hold up, let's let them win this championship first. But what do you think? Do you think they're good? Do you think those were just good scares that make them better?
I will start with the women because chivalry isn't dead. I think the women are going for their, what is it, 7th or 8th straight gold
Something like
medal.
that.
And
Right.
they truly don't need to have Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark on their team to win.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they're good enough.
You know who they do
without
need?
them. But
You know who
here's
they do need?
here Jesus. what?
Enrique, no, they needed Enrique Wumake. I mean,
But she's not from America, brother.
Yes, she was.
Yeah,
She was one of the last
also.
person that had a chance to make the team.
She did.
Wait, why they didn't put? I thought she's from.
They missed her again. They missed her. She missed the opportunity to be on Olympics 2 times in a row, and that's why she cooked them in the All-Star
She
game.
cooked
I
them.
thought she was. I didn't think she was from America.
Yes, she is. That's
Why was
they-
she on the world team then at the All-Star game?
We don't know.
No, because she didn't make the team. Like, so how went since the
Oh,
season-
because it was.
Here's
okay,
your goes. You really played yourself. You really showed that you wasn't watching the WNBA.
or
They
I
had
didn't know
the
that
Olympic
element
team
of it.
play against the girls that were the All-Star team.
Okay, well, yeah, because I saw it was Team WNBA versus World. That's where my mistake
Yeah.
had occurred.
No,
my
it's-
bad.
Yeah.
There's no way in world she should not be on that team. To be honest with you,
No.
Bro, she's
So it
might
kinda-
be-
it-
she's
to your point-
she's the highest bucket getter in the WNBA.
Oh, by far.
After watching that, she's the highest level of bucket
She-
getter in the WNBA.
Obviously, Asia Wilson is the leading
best
Yes.
player.
scorer.
She's the best player.
She's the best player and the highest scorer. She leads the league in scoring.
No, she leads the league. I'm saying the style of
No,
way.
but yeah, I'm saying, but
Enrique-
the bucket getter is her.
Yeah.
She gets the most buckets by
Yeah.
far.
And obviously
Um,
she's mad.
I didn't know you did make my point mute. You did make my point mute because I didn't know that she was American. I thought she was from somewhere else. I didn't know she was American. And then B, dang, like she should definitely be on the team. But what I was gonna say is the team as currently constructed and for the past in this year probably win gold. They're great. They're a great team. Excellent women on that team. However, I think for the branding and marketing of the game and expanding it, you have some top names in Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark that would have been beneficial to have from a numbers, ratings, and growth of the game standpoint. And I think sometimes the WNBA needs to stop thinking about like skill at this moment and start talking about growth. And they have all the attention. I think this would have been a great moment to continue and put gasoline on the fire they have been, building on. And to their point, they don't need it. But sometimes when the audience is telling you what they wanted to watch, right? You probably should have played into it a little bit. Had Caitlin, had Angel, had them on Team USA, had Enrique. That would have been nice too. But to the men,
Can I before you go to switch to men? I think that point I agreed with it in the moment, and I do agree with you still. But now that I'm in the season of the Olympics, I realized that was blown out of proportion by a mug. The Olympics is so much bigger than just like, oh, this person's here, this person's not here. Bro, we're watching all types of sports. I'm watching handball, I don't even know what time certain teams are playing. So the whole notion that, oh, if Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is playing, that we'd be watching I think it was blown out. I think it was just a good talking point for the media to have. But now that we're in the moment, I don't know.
And I agree. What I'm saying is for the growth of the game, like these are superstars, right? You have people around the world. You have people in France. who wanted to see Caitlin Clark, but can't afford to get over to
They'll see her
America
in 4
to
years.
come see
They'll
her.
see her in 4 years. I mean, they're
Yeah, I
young.
get that, but
Hopefully
what
with a
I'm
repeat.
saying is what we were just saying about the Nuggets. When you have a time slot in the
And
window,
Alyssa
you got to
Thomas. They're
capitalize
old.
on it. You got to capitalize on that opportunity, and they had it and they missed it. It's all good.
They
Like
have
to
a
your point,
wealth. They have
you'll
a
see them
wealth
in 4 years.
No, quite
talent.
frankly, Chris, and I'm not saying this as a joke. I think that WNBA team could win the Olympics. Like that team was great. They had Alyssa Thomas, she was hooping out. Caitlin Clark I think Caitlin Clark has now started to really get close to mastering the WNBA game. You can see it in the way she assists. It's slow. The game's got slower to her. Angel Reese obviously grabs every board in sight. I think that team literally could be if the US team was playing against them in the US in the Olympics, I think they still might lose. That team is very talented.
Yeah, it is. So they got a bench.
I'll straight up apologize. Enrique is 100% from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, bro. She's from.
Don't let that last one, bro.
When I saw her on the World, I thought she was from here because I know she went to Notre Dame and all that. Yeah. I just thought I inferred. But hey, you are like from Wisconsin. You are from America. That's my fault.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was the All-Stars against the Olympic team, and the All-Stars won.
What's your thought on the men's?
The men's, I think that they better show up. I think that they better, and I don't know what's going on with KD. Was KD hurt, or is he going to start, or did they pull him for something's going on with KD? And so they didn't have KD either those games. And so KD is like the glue to me. So KD, hopefully, if he gets better, they'll get going. LeBron's gonna play LeBron. Steph got to hit his threes. You can't let down. The world has caught us up. Look at the NBA draft. Top 10 picks. How many was French? Okay, that they picked. And they've caught up. It took some time. The women to get here too, but right now the women aren't here. The world's not caught up in the women's game yet, but they're here in the men's. They said that it's more NBA players in the Olympics this time than probably ever before. So they're playing a lot of NBA players.
I think
games.
To your point, like the world has caught up. It's just funny to me, and a lot of the GOAT conversation has been turning over the last couple weeks because this dude is 40, playing with on paper probably the greatest team. Like on paper, this is one of the greatest teams of all time compiled, right? And how are you 40 and still the best person on the court? And not only that, like you have saved these dudes. Like think about if LeBron wasn't here, the story we'd be talking about the Americans going into it, because we would say they are a disappointment before they even got to Paris. And that goes to show if Captain America LeBron James wasn't here, like what? Like so I still think I can't sit here in Chicago and say that Jordan's not the best of all time.
Well, here's
but he might be 1A because there's a significant 1B.
No, but here, let me say this to you. LeBron did notice what we are noticing now. LeBron was sitting on his couch when the world was games were going on, and saw how we played there or not played there. He's like, we're gonna lose the Olympics. And he got on the call, got Steph motivated to come, and told AD you got to come, and that's how they formed this team right now because of LeBron.
You know what I would say, and I'm not a coach or anything, but clearly it's not about talent.
No,
we're not going to lose because of talent. We have enough talent. What wins in the Olympics is not superstar. Check your ego at the door. It is what it is. We know you're Anthony Edwards. We know who you are.
Yeah.
You were a Western Conference guy. LeBron, you win championships. Steph, roles win golds.
Yeah.
In the Olympics. The moment we realize, like, hey, AD, I want you from the block to here.
Yeah, that's it.
Joel Embiid, I know you can shoot the three all day long. I need you from the block to here.
But don't do it.
Curry, I know you can cut to the hoop all day. I need you on the arc. The moment we just tell our guys, do what you do best and let the other guy do what he does best. Devin Booker, can I just get you on the 3-point line, pump fake, drive in 2 feet, shoot the mid? That's it. Because that's the issue is like when the time gets going, everybody tries to go into superstar mode, and we can't do that in the Olympics. There's no question that the USA is better than South Sudan.
Yes.
But those teams are looking at you and they're like, bro, we just play our game. And then in the USA, the moment we start playing superstar ball, we're going to be in a lot of trouble in the world.
And again, I know KD, I don't know the KD status. I'm so sorry. I just don't. But I think KD was that guy who could figure out, I need to just play my mid-range game. They're open in the middle, get me the ball. I'm gonna hit my mid-range shots, and that's how we usually win these
I learned
games in
that about
Olympics.
KD. KD's truly he's a basketball period.
Yes.
I heard him say he's that I love just playing my role. And I think that
Yes.
we look at KD as how we put him in that LeBron, Michael Jordan, Kobe, all those guys. And he has talent, he's there with them.
Yes.
But his personality is I love basketball, whatever it takes to win. That's why he can go to Golden State, be egoless, and be like, hey, I'm gonna play my role with y'all. This is Curry's team, but I'm a hoop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's who they're missing.
So I need
sure
to see.
too.
They missed him those 2 games. So hopefully he's back. They rested him, and
You know what the
What about you?
world sees? The world sees they don't see a dominant, like unbeatable force. And they
No, they
also
don't.
know that the pressure is on them. Like if you are close to the United States right now, it's a
Mhm.
3-point game with 2 minutes to go.
You're
You have no pressure.
no pressure.
It doesn't matter if you're in the semifinals going for gold or silver or about to be playing the bronze game or an elimination game. Like you have no pressure playing against them because everybody expects them to walk over you.
Yeah.
Just
Well, I'm
because
gonna
of the talent they assembled.
Yeah.
It's like it's 2 parts now because it's USA. We saw in 2004 that brand doesn't resonate as it should. But now it's like you got Steph, you got Bron, you got AD, you got KD, you got Ant, you got boom, boom,
got
boom,
AD
boom,
too.
boom. You got all these names, right? You got all these names, all these great players. How many of the top 75 are on this team, right? You have all these phenomenal players. However, the pressure is on them to do it,
Yeah.
So if you're South Sudan and you're up by 15, just
Which
continue
you
to play
never should
loose.
have been.
If
I
you're
mean,
up by
that's
if you're
the
up by
tough
if you're up by
neighborhood
if you're down
time.
by 3
Oh, no,
down by 3 with 2 minutes to go,
Yeah.
you have no pressure on you.
They
And
have
that-
it now. They have it now.
Who?
They have it now. They know what
Who?
they're there now. So if
Who?
they don't come to play and they know these people are gunning for them, like you said, they circle.
The US has all the pressure. That's what I'm saying.
They always
They have
gonna
all
have all
the
the
pressure.
pressure. Yeah, they're the best.
The teams they're going against have no pressure.
But you know what I say, Chris? The thing is, here's
Canada
our
did.
weapon. We
Yeah,
have a hawk. I'm gonna use a
give what
marble.
to Caesar is what is Caesar's.
Yeah,
I'm gonna use a
That's true.
marble. I'm gonna use
Give
a
it to
marble.
Canada, right? You said.
I'm gonna use a
Oh,
marble.
Canada.
Canada won.
I should say North America invented
Yeah,
basketball.
Canada's just beat
Chunk up.
Greece, and Giannis was there. They just beat that. So I don't know.
Jamal play well. What about since we're talking all Olympics? Jokic got any shot tomorrow?
Much as I would say yes. No.
I don't know. He don't have enough talent.
I think I
saw
honestly,
Jokic
here's
was
my
disappointed.
prediction. Here's my prediction for this USA team. I think that their alarm has been set.
Me too.
Steve Kerr is gonna be like, see, the world's a lot closer, and if you guys lose, you will be at the embarrassment of all teams ever. I don't think they're gonna have too many scares. I don't think they're gonna be dream team winning by 40 something, but
no,
I
they're
do
not
think
gonna be that.
I think they're gonna definitely. I think they're gonna go undefeated and win this gold.
Yeah, they'll be fine. Let me tell you what I think. I said because we have a hawk, and my hawk in my mind is Drew Holiday, because the man single-handedly won us at the South Sudan game for them when they were down. I guess he got the last so many points.
And Bron.
And then the Bron.
Thank you. That's the word you're looking for. Single-handedly.
But Drew Holiday is
LeBron.
like that, bro. I think
no
he's that
doubt.
guy you need.
But
That's
that
just,
South Sudan game was 100%.
but again, to my point, Drew Holiday plays his role, and he understands it well.
He knows what they need.
That's why Drew Holiday is one of the best NBA players.
Yeah, he is.
He knows what to do. He can always have a spot on any basketball court.
Got it.
No, I love Drew
He's
Holiday.
a great defender.
And I think he submitted himself as a Hall of Famer this year. Personally, to me, I think he's
so. What else does he have to do?
Nothing. Shoot.
He has to do anything else.
If Yao Ming and Mitch Richmond in the Hall of Fame, you better give Drew Holiday.
If Lonnie Divac
is there, you better get Drew Holiday his jacket.
He got a championship with Milwaukee. Got one with Boston. Come on. If he gets this gold medal, come on.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, what else do you need them to do? Like,
he's one of those guys.
Yeah, but he got a gold medal the last time too. But he was on that team.
Like, honestly, over the last 5 years,
sorry.
Over the last 5 years, you can't write the NBA story without him. You know what I mean? Like, if you talk about the teams that won, the reasons they won were because of him. Like Boston could not get over the hump.
And I
they
guess
got KP
yeah.
and him, and it's a wrap. And KP was hurt throughout the thing. He was.
I guess that's what we should say about no, but I would say that this is the first summer of NBA basketball where one move you didn't go like, okay, that team just won a championship. Because like even when the Nuggets, me personally, and I'm sure you all both would agree too, when I was sitting at that table when the Avs had just won the Stanley Cup parade and we're sitting there and I looked on that television and I saw Bruce Brown coming to Denver, I was like, hold up, we just got Bruce Brown on this team that we already have? I was like, oh, we just won the championship.
And we had already had.
And I felt the same way when Boston got Drew Holiday. I was like, come on. You gave this team Drew Holiday. I mean, even without KP, like I was still sitting there like, this team just won it.
No,
you replaced Marcus Smart with Drew Holiday.
To your point, I think why it's tough, and I feel like we have to say this is our off-season episode, and thank you for sticking around if you're still here. This is a longer episode.
This is 3 episodes in one.
Yeah, this is a fully off-season episode. Like it's the second apron. It's very difficult to win a championship now, to have sustained winning championships now. So there was a world in which you can win 73 games and then get KD.
They're in the third. They ain't in the second. They got to be in the third because they have $1 billion worth of.
We're in a purgatory apron, bro.
Yeah, they're spending the money. They got to be close. They won $700 or $800 million.
But to your point, Christoph, is like, do you think the dynasty ends during this type of like? Can teams really beat dynasties because of this?
I think the dynasty word is tough. We'll see. I think we might have to temper our expectation of what a dynasty is, because I think the spotlight is on Boston right now because they signed back everybody. They won a championship and they signed back everybody. So if they can't go back to back, then I'm a little bit closer to your side. And heaven forbid that. I'm a Nuggets fan through and through. I do not want to see Boston win again.
Dude, we saw with the Nuggets.
Season,
we brought everybody back.
No.
Oh, we didn't bring Bruce back. We didn't Bruce or Jeff.
What are you talking about? We did not. If we brought them back and lost, then I would.
I guess I meant to say we brought our 5. I meant to say we brought our 5 back. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, but then we lost our 5 2 years later. So it's like, it really it's tough. Like think about it. You had the Bulls. Jordan retires, comes back, and they retooled, they revamped. You know what I mean? But they still have Pippen. So it's like you still have the structure of your teams. You like the Lakers now, like that three-peat. Do they have that three-peat? Because you lose a Robert Horry, you lose a Rick Fox, because you can't afford to pay them anymore. Yeah, you know what I mean. You lose Derek Fisher.
I think we full circle now of our pod. We started with saying Nuggets got a shot because now we got a bench. I think, and we talked about Nuggets winning the championship, losing, and everybody putting the bullseye on our back. If we win this year, then it could be done because we stay under the apron. We bring in some talent that we needed to complete our bench, and we basically kept our starting 4. Okay.
Yep. And I think if I was gonna name this season for the Nuggets, I'd say it's our redemption year.
Yeah,
we owe it to ourselves to be a better team than we were last year.
And from the coaches on down, because
everybody got to look themselves in the mirror and ask who they were, or who they know they are, and who they can be. AG said it at Summer League. He said, "I gotta be a better version of myself."
Yeah,
Christoph, you've now become a Michael Porter, get in the gym type of guy. So you're saying Michael Porter got to step it up.
No, I have no issues with Michael Porter. I was going down the line. Nuggets
have
Twitter, 7 points in Game 7. That's all I'm saying.
Nuggets Twitter is coming at Jamal, acting like he ain't who he was after everything he did last playoffs. Now they're acting like, oh, Jamal, whatever. He got to look himself in the mirror. We got Russell Westbrook, who's coming off all these long conversations about who he is as a person. And to be honest with you, Saric and Chanchar got something to prove too, because Saric, Dario Saric, they was acting like he was terrible in Golden State. Like they're like, oh, he was blah, 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 off year type of thing. So I'm sure he wants to prove himself. You saw he wants to prove himself in them streets when he was fighting. You saw him fighting in the streets. He wanted to prove himself.
And all we want is Joker not to get hurt in the Olympics. That's it.
Yeah, and Jokic, I think Jokic is he's a made man in that sense.
Jamal,
I say Joker's made man in this sense, but I think Joker wants to get.
We could close with this. I do think that this Nuggets team has shown you that they play better with their backs to the wall. without expectation when they're coming for when they're coming for the crown rather than defending the crown.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel a little bit better. And even as soft as I thought it was in the moment, I've grown to kind of appreciate it because they learned. They're like, yo, this season was tough because we got everybody's best every night.
Yeah,
And we just didn't, and ultimately we didn't answer the bell. We were up 20 in game 7 at home. We let it get away from us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it didn't materialize as we all wanted it to as fans and onlookers of this team, but it didn't happen. But I think what I know about them is that when they're coming for the crown, they are vicious.
Yeah.
And next season, when we get to just Nuggets Summer League 3, we'll talk about how they had to defend it again. But at that point, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
I'd say the last person that also has to prove himself too is Mike Malone, man, because he got to look himself in the mirror and ask what kind of coach he wants to be. Because
I think team he has, he's a good coach. We're not saying you're not a good coach. We are, but you got to look at the team you have and how do you have to coach them.
Because I think for so long he's been the guy that's like, I'm not gonna play that guy. I'm not gonna do this. That person's in my doghouse. This person, And now obviously he gets bailed out because why should I say bailed out? But the fact that Daron Holmes isn't gonna be there.
Yeah.
We thought he would be one of the guys that you had to put in the lineup today. You don't. But I just don't think the mentality of this guy's in my doghouse, we can't have that mentality during the regular season because you see how it plays on a guy like Jamal or Michael Porter or Jokic who are playing 40 minutes in the regular season. We just can't do that. The Nuggets can win at any seed. I think the Nuggets are strong enough to win at every seed. We don't have to fight for one if it means Jokic is going to be tired coming into May or Jamal's going to be tired coming into May or Michael Porter or AG. Because again, we haven't even thought about AG, but this is this third or fourth year with the Nuggets. He's got wear and tear now. So we got to learn how to let Peyton Watson have his 20 minutes in a struggle game where he's not great, but we play him anyway so he can be, or Julian Strother where they get that. Or Chris's boy, Jalen Pickett. No, I'm just joking. But from the Just Nuggets podcast, my name is K. Colley. You can find us towards when the season starts. This is just our Summer League episode. Just Janet, thank you again for another great episode. Christoph Yalich, thank you for another great episode. And as always,
go Nuggets.
Go Nuggets.